Hello everyone and welcome to our latest video. Basically what we want to do today is try and give you the basic information to help you order the correct pump from our website without the need to ring up or talk to us in great detail about what it is you need. This video is going to work for the most common pumps on the market. Obviously, if yours doesn't suit that, then please do get in touch and we'll always be more willing to help narrow it in. But if you do need to contact us, we'll also tell you what to do and what information to send you, and that's the point of this video today. As you can see, we've got quite a little broad range of pumps out here in front of us. This is by far not every single pump out there, but we have covered the most common ones on the market today. There's a few things to work out when you are replacing your pump, and that is, have I got a 2-speed pump which does the circulation and massage as well, or have I got a dedicated circulation pump? So you'll see the first few pumps on the bench here today are 1-speed pumps, which would typically be smaller ones for circulation only. We also have a 1-speed massage pump, and then we move on to the 2-speed pumps which do the massage and the circ as well. And you might have more than one pump on your hot tub, but first things first, hopefully you know which one it is you need to replace, and we'll give you a little bit of info now to get you in the right direction. So the first thing to look at here would be to identify the pump label. So let's have a little look at that now. LX is the most common make of hot tub pump in the market, and as you'll see here, it's got a nice little logo on the label, and it'll have a model number. So obviously if you see the LX and the model LP200, pop that into the website search, you should land directly onto the pump you need. If, however, for example, the hot tub has had the pump made for them by LX or other manufacturers, they might have their own make and model number on there, which doesn't necessarily mean that much. But again, pop that information into the website. If we know it, we've identified it and made it land on the correct pump. Past that, we can do a few checks of this label. And the first question you want to ask yourself is whether it's a single-speed pump or a 2-speed pump. And the quickest and easiest way to do that is to look at the RPM readings. If it's a 1-speed pump, it's going to have 1 RPM. If it's a 2-speed pump, it's going to have 2 RPM figures. Likewise for the amp rating, which is the amount of current that the pump draws. If it's a 1-speed, there'll be 1 figure and they'll have an A after it. So like we look at this one here now, this is a single-speed pump and it has 7A, which is 7 amps. If it's a 2-speed pump, obviously there'll be 2 figures, and it might even say high speed and low speed. So that's always quite a useful way to find out. There are lots of other information on the label. Voltage, for example, we're always 220, 240 volts. Hertz, 50 hertz for the UK. Americans use 60 hertz, but that's not really relevant for us, so it'll always say 50 hertz. This one also says PH1, that stands for single phase, which is again your domestic electricity at home. Lots of other information. Capacitor size is quite a useful thing if you're having to replace a capacitor in the pump later down the line. It also gives you Q and Q max. That's to do with your flow rates and what the pump can do. Again, you're replacing like for like, so I wouldn't focus on that information too much. If the label's not there and it's a little bit more difficult to work out whether it's a single speed or a 2-speed, another way to check is to see if it's actually got a motor plate. Some pumps actually have a motor plate. Waterways, if I can quickly look at this one over here, give you the motor, because the motor is typically made by another manufacturer. So that's one thing to do. That'll give you the amp rating and the RPMs. Another way to identify is if you happen to unplug it. Most LX pumps and all pumps nowadays have an amp plug, which is this little plug here, which plugs directly into Spa Pack. Generally, they'll always have 4 plugs on, but if you look at the pins in the end of the pump, end of the plug, sorry, you'll notice that this is a single-speed pump and there's only 3 pins: live, earth, and neutral. If it's a 2-speed pump, you'll have 2 live, so there'll be 4 pins within the plug. So if you've got 4 pins in the 4 plugs, you'll know that's a 2-speed pump. If there's only 3, you know it's a single-speed pump. So yes, that is the first way of identifying whether you have a single or 2-speed pump. If you've even got the model and you found it on the website, it might just be worth taking note to make sure that your wet end, which is the front part, the motor back here, wet end at the front, just check the connections, because there are a few ones out there where manufacturers chop and change this just to trip you up. Typically you can have a 2x2. This is again the most common. So 2-inch does not measure 2-inch. We have a handy guide on the website again, but if you want to do a double check, you can do a quick measure across the threads here. So if it's 1.5 inches, which is a lot of circulation pumps are, that'll actually measure 63 mil. If it's 2-inch, which is what this is, it'll roughly measure 79 mil. And now there are some out there which have 2.5 inch. You can see this one here, and that will actually measure 93 mil. They typically have your suction at the front and discharge at the top. So failing that, just check. If you do end up with a larger one here, there are adaptions. Again, contact us, we'll help you at that point. It's also important to note that you might look at this pump and go, oh, my wet end discharge is in a different orientation. It's quite common to have to rotate the wet end to fit your plumbing. I've quickly just got another wet end here. So most pumps, when you buy it, will always come in the 12 o'clock position, but you can rotate them to this position, 12 o'clock, that position, or in some applications, this position or that position. It's just 4 bolts, rotate it, and you can actually put that in the correct position for your pump. So yes, that is a very quick way of looking at the pump. If you do need to contact us and send us the information to help speed up your inquiry, please send us photographs of any pump plate, clearly, so that we can read it, a picture of the wet end, a picture of the whole pump as a whole, and importantly, if you can, a picture of the plug, and maybe a picture from a distance, because it's quite useful sometimes to see the pipework leading into the pump and out of the pump, so that we can help identify it. Yeah, so quickly, if you can send us that information, we'll be more than happy to help. Hopefully this video has pointed you in the right direction. As I say, there's so much information to dive into, but this was just a quick one to help you read the basics. Thanks for watching, see you next time.